All right, collective, let's try again. I've done quite a few readings for you, but they're just not quite right for one reason or another, or not ready to post yet or whatever. So I'm going to do more quicker readings. We'll just get straight into it, shall we? Can I please have an overall theme from the animal decks, dear Sage, for the highest good of this collective? Overall helpful energy, actually. Should we just start with an overall helpful energy? A framework to begin this for the highest good of the person who clicked on the video. Oh, the cards are very jumpy. They want to jump, jump, jump. All right. There was quite a lot of full-on energy coming through in the previous readings. It implied some kind of a shock that was not necessarily pleasant, but it was going to, you would first be almost crying, but then laughing at your own fear, and that the shock would bring you resources, and that you would be believed after all this time. So that's kind of a summary of this reading that I just did that was an hour long. And the shock happens in the outside world. It affects you personally, but it's not about you personally. It's more like you're just one of the many people affected by a world event that seemed shocking. It seemed to be something to do with corruption or something like. And it implied that the well, which is, you know, the collective resource and the collective consciousness, was being cleaned and cleared so that the fresh, clean water could be, sparkling, clean water could be drunk again. And that the solutions are available, but nobody's been seeing them. Like the solutions to all our problems, they're right there, like a clean well ready to be drawn from, and nobody is looking in that direction. And maybe the collective who's watching this video has been one of the people who has seen the solutions, been pointing to the solutions, and everyone's been looking around in every other direction and just not believing them. But it talks about when talk of revolution has been 3 times round, then it can happen. And it's like, that's when you are believed. And you are the tiger in this reading. You're the one with the sharp vision and the good sense of timing of when to pounce and like that. Patiently waiting. But you have the leadership qualities of a tiger in this last hexagram. And so finally the world begins to see what you've been saying all along, and they're willing to follow you. Or, you know, that you've been saying for quite some time, this solution, which is a wonderful solution to some of the corruption and problems that people have just been ignoring. And maybe the shock of seeing the corruption is making them open to the solution after all this time. Okay, so overall theme, please, Sage, that's helpful. First card for this video. Fox, adapt to the changes that are happening. Adaptability. Right. So yeah, that makes perfect sense coming on from the readings. I did 2 readings, 3 readings I didn't post. So I have a bit of, I'll just consider it background or pre-reading. It was implying that there's going to be some upheavals, basically. But it's all for the good. Like, it's not necessarily pleasant as it's happening, but that it brings resources, it brings, you know, things that need to be seen up to the light. It's a general clearing, I guess. And it could be quite shocking in a general sense, in a world sense. It's all to bring more, you know, harmonious, resourceful times to the whole. So while these shocks and big events are happening, you will have to keep adaptive. You may have to move forward and retreat, you know, keep your, and the title for the last reading, which I didn't post, was going to be open up your mind and pay attention, because the shock is supposed to help you see something that you missed before, by freeing you from the ego. And it's as as a general world sort of event, like the collective ego needs to be freed from a false belief, probably that keeps you stuck in scarcity, or, you know, stuck in a bad situation of some kind, or in corruption or something like that. And so the shock helps free the collective ego to overcome, you know, the dark forces, basically, by seeing the solutions. What else is helpful to you, Sage? Dolphin, playfulness, take time to play. Right, I'm just straight away getting that play is very good for creative problem solving. Like when you relax enough, it's like when you take your mind off the problem and look in the other direction, it's like the solution can kind of slip in through the back door or whatever. It's like, you know, plenty of inventors or whatever have had ideas when they sit in the bath and relax. Or like, I often find as a musician, if I just go and play music, you know, and my whole brain's engaged with the music, then somehow it's like loosening the grip on the problem or whatever, and the solution can slip in. So playfulness, I think adaptability and playfulness kind of go together. I was getting just even with my own process here, I had to stop taking things so seriously, be more adaptable, more playful about doing this, because all the sort of puritanical formality and everything was getting in the way. There's a lot to be learned from being playful, that, you know, to bring a bit of levity to something, even if it is serious, just in terms of finding the solutions. But yeah, also just taking time off from problems, because, you know, you can't get stuck in that space where it gets heavy. Sometimes just taking time off is the best thing you can do. You know, it helps you clear your energy field. A little bit of laughter can go a long way. All right, so adaptability and play will help you get through the what could be quite sort of shocking events in the world at large. And yeah, these shocking events, they may appear unpleasant or fearful, but not to be afraid. Like stand steady. Like the image it uses in the hexagram shock is about the person who's about to make a sacrificial offering of wine, and a shock happens and they don't spill a drop of the wine. It's like driving Miss Daisy kind of thing. Nice, take it, you know, steady as she goes. Don't let, you know, if you already know that it's going to be a bit of a turbulent ride, then you just take it slow and steady. And, you know, you watch you don't spill the champagne as you go around the corner. Driving, this is like if you're driving Miss Daisy. I haven't actually seen that movie. I've always meant to see that movie, but I got the bit about that a limousine driver doesn't spill the champagne because they take the corner nice and slowly. So if you already know that there's going to be a lot to adapt to, that's just world events at large, it's not personal to you, even though it may affect everyone personally. The answer is to be playful and adaptable, and just know that challenges are coming, and not to spill the sacrificial wine, metaphorically speaking. So whatever, you know, in a previous reading just recently, we had this like focus on one main thing. So you've got one main idea or one main thing you have to protect, or one main mission or whatever. You need to put that like in the basket and protect it and drive it like Miss Daisy around, you know, because it's like going on a bumpy road. I don't know if you've ever driven on corrugated roads, but if you find the exact right speed, like if you go too fast, your whole car goes like this, and if you go too slow, you go. But if you get, you know, you just drive at 5 or 10 k's or something, and you get the right speed for the corrugations, and then, you know, it's just sort of bearable, and you don't spill You don't spill the wine. I don't drink, by the way, but we're using metaphors here. Miss Daisy is in the back seat. You're the limo driver. You're on a corrugated road. There's stuff flying everywhere. And you just take it slow and steady and try not to spill the wine as you turn around the corner. But you've got your one thing and you're protecting it and you're just taking it slowly and surely. And you're letting yourself, because the last reading was about letting yourself be carried by the stream. It was like stepping into the stream of life, but you weren't pushing anything. You were just letting the stream take you to meet up with a gift that God's got for you. So it's like forewarned is forearmed. It's like turbulence up ahead, but you'll be right. And it's all for the best. It's actually bringing you resources. But it's like, maybe you have to get the last bit of road is a bit corrugated or whatever before you arrive to the next lily pad or whatever. And, just to try not to take it too seriously. I mean, things may be serious, but if you can be adaptable in your solution findings, like sort of not try to be too perfectionistic or puritanical, just work with what's going on to the best of your ability, staying in the good, protecting your basket as you go down the street. I'm getting pictures. Who was it? Was it Moses who was in the basket? And they had to stash him in the bushes or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting these images. There's some Bible story that goes like that. Some baby had to be put in a basket and gone down the stream and then stashed in the bushes. I'm getting that image for some reason. Anyway, take some time to play along the way, because I think de-stressing is very important. It's very good for creative problem solving and thinking outside the box. Just letting off steam. That was another thing in the previous hour-long reading I just did. I haven't even thrown the coins yet. The previous hour-long reading I just did was about something could make you very angry, and it's like sort of just keeping a hold of yourself, because there's possibly other people who are just waking up, like, to the corruption that's been going on, the black magic, all this stuff, all the different levels of bad things happening that maybe normies weren't quite tuned into, and they're just starting to wake up now, and they're going to be very angry and upset, and they may not have the processing capacity that some of us have. So it's and it's hard enough for the best of us. Like, so try to be gentle with them. They're going to be quite traumatized, I think, and just give them space. Just give them space to do their thing, because as they wake up, they're going to be angry, but then they're going to be looking for leadership, because all of their previous models of reality have been broken, and they're sort of like a bit at sea, and you don't want them to get too kind of upset, because that's when you get like fighting and stuff. So we have to stay calm. It's like driving Miss Daisy, like these hiccups and problems on the corrugated potholes and stuff on the road are coming up, and we have to help keep calm and not lose our load. And it's saying that it's fine, that can all happen, because forewarned is forearmed. The whole way the I Ching works is that it gives you the heads up of, it's like a weather report, and so it's going to rain, so you take your raincoat, so it's no drama, and it was no big deal, and nothing bad happened, because you already knew what you were preparing for. So it just takes down the intensity of anything that you may encounter by mentally preparing for it. And sometimes it's just a shocking thing that happens in your mind. Sometimes it's all internal, and it could be just like having a shocking realization, and inside your own head, everything has all changed, and you go through this whole inner landscape story, and things get worked out in your mind, and it doesn't actually happen in the 3D. It's like you do the work. Sometimes it's just like by having the scenario presented to you as this is going to happen, you quickly prepare for it in your mind, and get your attitude straight and everything. And just the doing of that sort of reroutes things, because you're not the same person as if you hadn't had the tip off mentally. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. I'll get on with turning the coins. I said it was going to be a short reading, and here we are at 15 minutes already. Okay, 3 heads. That's a yang line moving. Okay, 2 heads and a yin, and that's a yin line. Okay, that's a yang line. That's a yang line. I do get on a rave, don't I? That's a yang line. Okay, right. Okay, this is interesting because it's the same hexagram you got in the reading I just did, which the probability of that happening is like 1 in 2,500 or something like that. It's like, it's not very probable. You did get a different moving line though. Sometimes, this is what made me think something's really going on here with the Yi Jing. I've had days where I've thrown the same hexagram with the same moving line 3 times in a row, and the probability of that happening is 1 to infinitesimal. Like, there's something going on here. Like, there's times when it feels more close and potent than others, but if you could, like, sometimes I get in a zone and I read I Ching all day, and that would be amazing sometimes, the stuff that would come through. Anyway, you got this hexagram in the reading I just didn't post. Hexagram 49, which is revolution, which is skinning, which is but it's about a transformation. And you got, in the last reading, you got line 3 and 5, which was explaining how that talk of the revolution has to go around 3 times before you are believed. And you were the tiger at line 5. That's you, collective. You're the tiger at line 5. So where we are in the timeline is still away from line 5. So down here, the murmurings are only just beginning. And it's in the 3D, it's like revolution. It could be something as simple as the changing of seasons from, going through the cycle of seasons, or the water cycle, or it could be a political revolution, or just a change in the way of doing things, a change of management, change of protocol. But the whole purpose is some kind of a reform, because whatever has been going on has stopped working. But in this timeline, it's down the bottom. You're at line 1, so the ferment has only just begun stirring. At line 3, the talk of revolution has gone around 3 times. Line 4 is when the moment of revolution comes, and line 5 is saying that you're the leader. So I just pulled this hexagram just before, and it said that you're the one that everyone turns to for, because you were onto it before it happened. So you saw it coming, and you were warning people, and they didn't believe you. And then the shocking event happened, and they realized, oh, you were onto it, right? So that's what the last whole story was about that I just did. So now we seem to be back further at the beginning of the story, where the change that's going to happen has only just begun to simmer. So we're not at boiling point yet. But I would say you probably have to prepare to be the leader. Because, talk of the revolution or the transformation, if it's happening on a on a 5D level, it's like the transformation, and a transformation is like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. This could be your transformation even. It could be that you're the one who's about to have a revolution and you emerge as this tiger with bright stripes at line 5. And so this is the beginning of your process, and it involves letting go of the past and doing shadow work and cleaning out, your physical vessel and your emotional vessel and all like that. So this age, where's my coins? Here they are. For this hexagram that I've just pulled, is this about more close to home for the querent, or is it more like world events? Heads is closer to home, tails is further away. Okay, so it's 2 heads and a tail. So it might be like you, your family, your community, something like that. Is it? Heads is very close to home. Tails is more like their community, local. Tails, right. So this is your local area, sort of. Right. And so I'll just actually read it to you for the book here. Reform, change, revolution. Out with the old and in with the new. So you're getting ready for a massive change. And probably in your community too, your local area is getting ready for a massive change in procedure or protocol, or, it could be the change of season, but it's more likely, seen as the sage, seeing as that happens anyway, and the sage just brought this to your attention, that it's something a bit bigger than just changing from winter to summer. It's something bigger. So out with the old, in with the new. When your day comes, you will be believed. So you will be believed collective. People may still be doubting you, or, you still may have skeptics at this point. Let's put it that way. All right. Fire below the lake or metal. Fire melts the metal, transforming it into many shapes for a multitude of purposes. Right, so that's the transformation. It's like a piece of metal being turned into a sword, and that's what's happening to you. You might be in the process from becoming just a beginner at something to proficient at something to being masterful at something. You might be on a trajectory like that. And in the process of doing that, you have to leave bad habits or ways of doing things that worked for your old situation but don't work for your new situation. I'm suddenly getting a picture of a business that's upscaling. Yeah. That kind of a step change. I felt that in my body just now, like a business step changing, but it's you somehow. I don't know if you're a business or not. Maybe it's just who you are in life, like more people will be looking up to you or something like that. You might be carrying more responsibility. It's like if you're a business, then you're stepping from a little shop into a franchise or a big warehouse or something. Maybe you were just trading locally. You're going to start selling things online. But it's more than just getting bigger. It's like something fundamental changes about you in order to do the step change. Okay. It doesn't use the word step change here. That's just what I felt in my body. The snake shedding its skin is a vivid picture of casting off the old and worn to make way for the new. A metamorphosis. Yes, that's what it is. I think our whole society is going to change, but it's not there yet. That's kind of what it's saying. It's like it's like the heat has just been put under the pot, and the water's just starting to get warm at this point. At a certain point, it'll start simmering, and then it'll be a slow boil, a slow rolling, and then it'll be boiling and steaming, and the point at which it starts to boil and steam, that's when you step in to become the tiger, the sharp-eyed tiger with the good sense of timing of when to pounce. So, where were we? A complete change of form and substance. Right. So just as a caterpillar is not a, has only got a very small, only the central bit is the same in the caterpillar as the butterfly. In fact, the caterpillar actually dissolves in the cocoon before it becomes a butterfly. That's why the basket needs to be carried. That I just got that. Maybe you're like you or your business or the thing that's about to change in the world. Because where was it? It was your community. It was your local area. Okay, so it's in the metamorphosis stage right now. That's why it needs to be carried carefully. Okay, so you've got to carry your community, your local community. I'm getting it. Oh my God. All my hands on my legs are standing on end. I'd show you, but anyway. Right. It's about carefully putting your community, which is undergoing a psychological, emotional, spiritual, and I don't know how, economic metamorphosis. Yeah, because the whole way we're going to be earning money or trading resource. I mean, I don't even know if money's. I just got here that money might not even be the thing like it used to be, and I'm not getting digital currency. I'm getting something about the whole understanding of sharing energy and resources. Anyway, the change is not happening yet. It's like the caterpillar has just begun to dissolve into that liminal soup, because you've got line one and that's your community. It's like the old world is the old false matrix is glitching. You go to reach out for services that are promised and they're not quite there, or they're there for somebody and not for you, or you know you call for, just like the functions of society in the old matrix are kind of half working. You might get health care or you might not. That you might, the people may follow the law or they may not. The police may do their job or they may do the job of criminals. The politicians may do what the people ask, or they may just do what their donors told them to do. It's like it's all sort of disintegrating within the integrity is disintegrating, and it's like a picture that's getting like water's been dropped on it and the picture's getting blurry. It's sort of dissolving. So the old matrix is still kind of there, but you try to use it and it's a bit dysfunctional. So as people begin to realize that, they're realizing that their communities, they can't do it all on their own. Yeah, like, there will be some people who, obviously people who think, who worship mammon. People who worship mammon will probably try and lock themselves in bunkers with a whole bunch of ammo or whatever when they sense that things are breaking down. But your average person is probably going to realize that they can't do everything on their own. No matter how great they are, they can't sew up their own leg if it accidentally gets a chainsaw through it or what. So you need a community. Not everyone can, like, you can't know everything all by yourself. You can know a lot. You can be very good at a lot. You can be a jack of many trades, but you can't do everything yourself. There's going to be a day when you're not feeling so great and you need help. You may be able to be a wonderful provider for 5 years in a row, and then something happens and you can't provide and you need somebody to help you. And if you don't have a blood family that you can depend on, as many chosen chochos can't rely on their blood family at all, then you need a community of some kind. So yet your community is kind of melting down around the edges, in terms of what it understands itself to be in relation to the matrix, the old matrix, the false matrix. So the matrix is glitching. You're trying to get help, and it's there sometimes and not sometimes, It's like sometimes the electricity's on, sometimes it's not, Sometimes the telemachine works, sometimes it doesn't. See, I'll just digress here for a minute. I got this very clear picture lots of times about mosaic, about that the old world doesn't end all at once and the new world comes online the next day. It's not like that. What happens is it's like a patchwork quilt, and certain bits glitch out and they get new that reboots into the new thing, and then another bit will glitch out and that reboots, and they're slowly sort of connecting up. Like, it's not everything all at once. It's like, so the community, the old matrix is dissolving. It's becoming unreliable. People realize they can't do it all themselves. They need a community, yet the community is kind of doesn't know what its future is at this point, because everything they thought they were, you know, um, so they trained to be whatever, I don't know, just about anything AI can do these days. Whatever you train for, maybe you spent thousands of dollars getting a career to be a lawyer, and now there's some AI that's taken your job effectively, or is about to. Um, there's a whole bunch of jobs like that that were basically humans did them, like the same as when industrialization happened and a whole bunch of people lost their jobs. And they were very upset because their new identity was not formed yet. So that's kind of where a lot of communities are. Their old industries are falling apart. Let's use the example of places where they mined coal and the coal mines are shutting down because of climate change, and they may or may not have a new job to go to. Like some clever governments are giving people who are leaving coal mines solar jobs, for instance, or clean energy jobs. So that's making pathways for them. But in a lot of cases, the community's just left to fend for itself, like it's had its resources extract by a bunch of narcissistic elites and being left with pollution and broken people, and they have to kind of work out how to put themselves back together with the matrix not delivering what it promised. It promised to look after them when they were sick or whatever, if they paid their taxes. It promised to do this if they paid their taxes. It promised to do that if they paid their taxes. But instead, the matrix went and took their taxes and used it to bomb children, for example. So, F the matrix, you paid all the taxes, they took the taxes and used it to do dastardly things. So there you are with your pollution and half your river messed up, and, broken, traumatized people with intergenerational trauma, and you got to, and no foreseeable future of how you're going to make ends meet. And what's more, you no longer trust the mainstream media or the GOV, the government, or the gubbers. You don't trust the nation state. You don't trust big corporations. So it's like you have to rely on God, or however you understand that to be, and your community. And the community doesn't know who it is right now. So we get the first line wrapped tight in a yellow oxhide. So, okay, please, vegans, understand that this was written like hundreds or thousands of years ago, 5,000 years ago or something, I don't know. So, we'd probably use a wicker basket now, but it's like yellow oxide. So whatever it is wrapped up very like a baby in bunting. Your community is like a baby in bunting, or like a caterpillar in a cocoon right now, because it is going to emerge as a butterfly, but right now it's in that really vulnerable space where it's dissolving from being a caterpillar, and it's kind of going, "Bleh." I'm a bunch of non-specific cells and I don't know who I am or what I'm about to become. All I know is that I'm not who I was. Okay, wrapped in a uptight in yellow oxide. To make any radical changes, you need sufficient support and personal strength. For now, develop your sense of security. Be like a baby safely wrapped up in a blanket. Right, so that's where your community is now. You specifically, and put your own oxygen mask on first, kind of thing. But also your community. I think you need to wrap your arms around your community, because your community there's so much change, and people are just different. People are at different levels with coping with change. Like, for our seniors who lived in an era where nothing changed very fast, like the seniors, the war generation or whatever, like they don't cope with change very well because things didn't change very fast when they were growing up. So they're like babies in buntings. Like they need help to drive Miss Daisy round the corner into the new world where they're going to emerge as butterflies, whether they live or they go into spirit, and they'll be butterflies that way. But the whole community is having a reassessment of their personal identity, what the world is, and their community and how to make things work for abundance and harmony. Okay, so what happens next after hexagram 49, which I didn't show you, sorry, there it is. That's hexagram 49. So what you get next is hexagram 31, which is basically attraction. So that basically is like magnetism. It's like after the transformation, everyone's going to emerge as butterflies, including your whole community is going to emerge like a butterfly. And it's going to be very attractive, and it's going to attract, or you personally are going to attract the complementing energies, basically, to bring things to its next, because, it's like the whole purpose of attraction. It's like male, female comes together and they make a baby. But on a cosmic level, it could be like a yin and a yang energy coming together, and they have a cosmic creation, like they produce something. So right now, you're just nurturing the baby, just treating yourself and your whole community like a precious baby, like driving Miss Daisy, because at the old end of the spectrum, they're feeling a bit fragile and like they don't know what's happening in this rapidly changing world, and nothing makes sense anymore. And there's obviously the younger generation as well. They need to be protected while the climate change and world powers fight it out, and all these different kind of bigger forces wrestle each other. We just got to try to keep our communities, whatever that means to you. And this did kind of indicate it's just like your local area. So it's not necessarily that they feel so much community to you. It's just like your local area needs to ensure that you have your own food supply, your own provisions, your own emergency services. I'm just thinking now of Jungle Patrol. I used to live in Bunjalung country, and one of the there was trouble with the policing there, like at a certain point. I won't go into what the dramas with the policing were, but the community wasn't happy with the way the police were showing up for some events and not for others, like sort of showing up when the community felt that they weren't needed, and not showing up when the community wanted them to show up. Let's put it that way without going into details. So the community's response to this, unsatisfactory, as they saw it, policing, was to make what they called jungle patrol, which was a voluntary police service. There was no you had to do very basic training, and it was just sort of helping people, basically. They had no power to hurt or detain or be forceful in any way. Their whole thing was de-escalation and helping people in need, and helping people, like helping grandma across the street and helping somebody find the toilets, and helping, where is the hospital or whatever, de-escalating fights that were starting, trying to keep warring parties apart, like community policing, but without any force or power add any real force or power to, but much skill and goodwill, and lots of people were involved with it. So it's like by the community, for the community. And so in a sense like that, that's just an example of policing, like how the community's response to inadequate policing or, inappropriate policing was to make jungle patrol, which was a community-based operation that basically didn't hurt anyone. It just helped people who needed help. And like in a lot of communities, they have like a neighborhood center, a community center, or something like that. So what I'm getting is like, because the big structures are all very wobbly and got sort of swaying in the wind, the go is to build from the grassroots up, to nurture your community like a baby in the basket, and realize that everyone in the community is going through a lot of change right now. The whole way we perceive the world with everything that's coming up is changing quite radically, quite quickly. There's a lot to take in, and lots of people are on completely different pages. Like, there's some people who are just as an example, there's some people who are completely obsessed with the ins and outs of the Epstein files and know who all the alleged offenders are and all the names of the characters, and this is a major part of their it's taking up real estate, let's say, in the brain, and they're really aware of that corruption and those poor children, and they want to get justice for the victims and everything like that. And then there's I mentioned the Epstein files down at the supermarket the other day. And the person looked at me blankly like they'd never heard of the Epstein files. Like they didn't know anything about the Epstein files. So there's and I mentioned it to another person at the supermarket and they'd never heard of it either. So it's like half the society is like, oh my God, look what's happening. And the other half is like, what's the Epstein files? So it's like, they are going to find out and they are going to wake up and they're going to be just as shocked as the rest of us when they do, but they're little bit behind. So it's like those of us who, are a bit further along the awareness of these things are going to have to help cushion them and drive them like Miss Daisy round this bit of corrugated road with potholes in it. Like, things are a bit whoa, a bit uneven out there. So we've got to embrace, just as communities and a grassroots level, just look after each other and be excellent to each other. I think that's the message. Yeah, we've got to look after each other and be excellent to each other. I might pull an emotion card or two. What emotions might we be dealing with this during this time of revolution that we might need to manage, dear Sage? These emotion cards. So something that might be challenging. Let's pull what might be part of the challenge. Okay, that one wanted to jump. Challenge of happiness, and that's got dolphins as well. Look. Happiness and playfulness. Right. I'm getting all this stuff about the stiffs. The fun, the effing fun police. Like, this world has had enough of the effing fun police. Now, I'm not saying that, anyone should get degenerate or anything like that, but a bit of good, wholesome fun, certain getting the picture of Nurse Ratched. I'm getting like, and the you know, like the I don't know how to say it. Just searching for the right words. Let's say the powers that have a lot of money, who want to be very controlling in a way that's invasive to people's sovereignty, to their inner sovereignty. Those people are very starchy, and play freaks them out because they don't know how to play. It's like they don't dance. Like they wouldn't know how to swing their hips if they tried. The best thing that Stephen Miller could do would be to go to a belly dancing class. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they haven't got any swing in their hips, and it's because they're stiff, they're starchy and puritanical in their mind. And it's good not to be degenerate or depraved and do, you know, to go to the other extreme. But yeah, I just had a whole rave in the reading that I didn't post about the Puritans, and how, you know, there's just problems with either extreme. We've got a problem. Oh, the problem with the Puritans and the really depraved people is they end up being the same group. You go far enough south, you end up north. You go far enough north, you end up south. It's like the really depraved people and the real Puritans end up, it's like police and prostitutes getting together after hours or something like that. It's like they all end up at the same bar. There's something about that. And it's like, if people just like allowed to be happy and play and enjoy themselves in a wholesome way, without getting too puritanical about it, you know, there needs to be more joy to create this blue-green energy. So green is heart chakra. It's not, the colors aren't coming through very well on the screen, but in the actual card, it's beautiful green and blue with a little bit of purple and white. But it's like heart chakra and throat chakra and a little bit of third eye. It's like, and it's just a very relaxing, you know, colors, like the color therapy of aquamarine and blue, that nice flowing, happy, you know. It's kind of the opposite of the black cube. Like there's too much black cube kind of Saturnian energy. It's too stiff. And that stiffness has made people rigid in their thinking, and it means that they can't see the solution that's right in front of them because it doesn't go along with some belief that they have. So happiness is challenging to the dark matrix, especially if there's nothing they can, you know, if you're just smiling and you're not doing anything wrong, they don't know what to do with that. It's like, you need to be more serious. But you're not doing anything wrong. You know, so what's their problem? You know, joy killers, fun police. That's part of the problem, is the fun police. Like, it's really about finding the middle way, you know. Too much depravity and too much puritanical, you know, either way doesn't work. But try and stay in that sweet spot in the middle. Like, you know, I'm hearing live and let live. It's a fairly simple idea. It's amazing how many people can't do it, you know, and vegans know this all too well, that people say that they want to live and let live, yet they live and kill every day. Okay, so that's challenging. The happiness is challenging for some people. Happiness is maybe you feel like you're not allowed to be happy because the world is so serious. I think the happiness actually calms the planet. That's what I'm just getting this picture here of how water has memory. Yeah, I'm getting this whole thing of putting joy into the water. Like going and splashing in the water and having fun playing under the sprinklers and and the whole water cycle and everything. And if you can put happiness into the water and then the water evaporates and it rains down happiness. The lovely blue-green energy. Pretty out there what I'm saying, I know. It's all right. You wouldn't want anything less from a woo reading, would you? All right, what's helpful, dear sage? What is helpful? What is helpful? That one jumped. Denial. Helpful denial. I acknowledge my fear, but replace it with the insight of awareness. All right. Okay. So what I'm getting is fear being false evidence appearing real. That one. They try to rule, the black hue people try to rule through fear. There I go. There's that moon shadow song again. I don't know who comes through with that moon shadow, but often when I sit here to read for you, I get that moon shadow song come through. Another helpful thing. So on the helpful side is this. That's helpful. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings, right? So whatever's don't be afraid. What's leaving is it's time. It's time. That's maybe why it's shocking at first. But it brings happiness. Right, so something I'm getting like it's the old matrix is dying. The old matrix is dying, and the new matrix is going to be much happier. As people are going to be more gentle with each other, I think. I'm just feeling that off this card. I'm just feeling this nice green, turquoise green, blue. I'm seeing the dolphin swimming in bloom. The happiness. Like, that's what everyone wants. It's just a bit of happiness. People are allowed to be happy. I think that's just like, we just want to be allowed to be happy. And that's what we're going to make happen because we just want to be happy. We're sick of all this stiff, grey, black cube energy, all these, you know? And that's really challenging for the matrix. And it's killing it. The joy, all these people waking up and deciding not to be afraid of whatever it was that they were going to be afraid of before, to face their fears. I think, facing your fear. Maybe, like a lot of us have actually had the worst thing happen and then lived past it. Once that happens, it's like, once something you thought was you couldn't live through happens and then you live through it, then it's like, well, okay, so, I'm a cat with 9 lives and I've, lost 6. So I'm going to spend the last 3 being happy because you only have 9 lives. Like, right? I think happiness is the self. I'm getting like watch a happy movie. I think that really is very healing for the body. You just need some wholesome happiness. That I'm getting wholesome happiness. Wholesome happiness. Everyone just, what am I longing for is a little happiness. Black Uhuru. What am I longing for is some happiness. Happiness is when you give Jah praises. Happiness is when you're living with a free mind. Yeah. All right, Bubs, I'm going to leave it there. I don't think there's any more to add. I'll see if the sage says to post this or not. You have a happy day. Have a happy day. Looking after your community that's like a caterpillar in a cocoon, a baby in a basket. You're going to emerge with butterfly wings and with the clear-sightedness of a tiger. And you're going to take, when that happens, there's going to be a coming together, an attractive coming together of complementary opposites. It's going to be beautiful, like butterflies. It's going to be beautiful, like butterflies meeting each other. That's what I get. But you're in the preparation stage and there's a bumpy road ahead. So, you know, if you've got corrugations coming, well, make sure your shock absorbers are looking good. Have a lovely, lovely day, dear collective. All the best.